Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin shows a generally upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently dips below the oversold level of 30, suggesting potential buying opportunities. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of volatility, with prices frequently touching the upper and lower bands. Considering the support price of $62,500 and the forecast prices, a strategy focused on capitalizing on short-term bounces is recommended. I suggest a buy order at $62,400, placing a stop loss at $62,100 to protect against immediate downside risk. The initial target price will be $63,400, aligning with the forecast price and a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI falls below 30 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a strong potential for a rebound. I will initiate a buy order at $62,800, with a stop loss set at $62,500, right at the support level. The target price will be $63,400, based on the forecast and the upper Bollinger Band. If the price reaches $63,400, I will consider taking partial profits and moving the stop loss to break even to secure gains and manage risk. This combined approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators for a more robust investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a generally upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently remained below 58.7, indicating that the asset is not currently overbought. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy with an entry price of $1,710. A stop loss should be placed at $1,700, just below the support level, to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price should be $1,740, aligning with the forecast prices and providing a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate a dynamic target based on the Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $1,740, we will reevaluate. If the price continues to rise and touches the upper Bollinger Band, we will adjust the target price to $1,750. Conversely, if the price retraces and the RSI approaches 30, we will consider tightening the stop loss to $1,690. This adaptive approach combines RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB exhibits a downtrend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently remained below 50, indicating a prevailing bearish sentiment. The forecast data further supports this, projecting a decrease in price over the next week. Considering the support price of $568 and the forecast, I recommend a short position. Entry price will be $559. The stop loss will be set at $576, just above the recent high and the upper Bollinger Band. The initial target price will be $548, aligning with the forecast for July 15, 2026. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, which is around $546, we can consider taking partial profits and moving the stop loss to break even. The RSI suggests that the asset is approaching oversold territory, potentially signaling a short-term bounce. If the price reaches $548, we can move the stop loss to the entry price of $559 to protect the gains. This layered approach, combining trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Band observations, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana shows an overall upward trend with consistent price fluctuations. The RSI consistently remains within the 46.5 to 65.7 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, suggesting increasing volatility. Considering the forecast data, which predicts prices hovering around 79.1 to 79.6, combined with the current resistance at 81.9, I propose a long position strategy. We'll enter a long position at $77.7, placing a stop loss order at $71.2, which is the support level. The initial target price will be $81.9, aiming to capture a significant portion of the upward movement. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we'll enter a long position at the lower Bollinger Band. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 70, signaling an overbought condition, we'll consider exiting the current long position or shorting. For the current long position, if the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, we'll move the stop loss to the center of the Bollinger Band to secure profits and reduce risk. The final target price will be $82.4, providing a buffer for potential price fluctuations and maximizing returns. This blended approach leverages multiple indicators to optimize entry, exit, and risk management. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates, indicating indecision but generally staying above the oversold level of 20. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a potential breakout. Considering the support price of $0.325 and resistance of $0.352, a breakout above the resistance could lead to significant gains. Given the forecast prices, which are trending upward, I recommend a long position. I propose an entry price of $0.328. To mitigate risk, set a stop loss at $0.324, just below the recent support and the lower Bollinger Band. For the target price, aim for $0.336, aligning with the forecast prices and the upper Bollinger Band. This strategy combines technical indicators and price action to capitalize on the anticipated upward momentum. If the price reaches $0.336, consider taking partial profits and trailing the stop loss to protect gains. This approach balances potential rewards with calculated risk management, suitable for a high returns investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin exhibits a clear downtrend. The RSI consistently remains in the oversold territory below 30, indicating potential for a rebound. However, the forecast prices for the next week suggest continued downward pressure, hovering around $0.07. Considering the support price of $0.0724 and the Bollinger Bands, a contrarian strategy focusing on short-term bounces is advisable. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $0.0722, placing a stop loss at $0.0711 just below the lower Bollinger Band. The initial target price will be $0.0743, near the previous resistance level. To refine the portfolio, I will incorporate a dynamic adjustment based on the RSI. If the price reaches $0.0743 and the RSI rises above 50, I will consider moving the stop loss to break even to protect profits. If the RSI approaches 80 while the price is near $0.0743, I will take partial profits and set a new target price at $0.0778, aligning with the previous resistance. This layered approach allows for capturing short-term gains while mitigating risk, especially given the overall bearish trend. The portfolio will be 60% allocated to this strategy and the remaining 40% will be allocated to a stable coin. Based on the historical data and forecast, Zcash demonstrates a generally upward trend, particularly evident in the recent price surge. The RSI consistently hovers above 40, indicating a neutral to slightly bullish sentiment. The Bollinger Bands show the price fluctuating within a defined range, with recent days showing the price approaching the upper band. Considering this, my investment strategy will be a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands. I will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, aiming to capitalize on the anticipated rebound. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $453. The stop loss will be set at $420, just below the recent support level and below the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $484, aligning with the recent resistance level. If the price reaches this target, I will reassess the situation and potentially set a trailing stop loss to secure profits if the upward trend continues. Given the forecast of $473 for July 16, 2026, I anticipate a further upward movement, but will adjust the strategy as needed based on real-time market conditions. Based on the historical data and forecast, Stellar has been exhibiting a generally upward trend, though with considerable volatility. The RSI fluctuating between 38.7 and 56.6 suggests periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands consistently widening and narrowing indicate increasing and decreasing volatility. Considering the forecast prices are trending downward slightly, a cautious approach is warranted. I propose a strategy combining RSI and Bollinger Bands, with a focus on short-term gains. We will implement a buy strategy when the RSI dips below 40, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. Specifically, on July 16, 2026 Thursday, the RSI is 42.4 and the forecast price is $0.181. This triggers our buy signal. The entry price will be $0.181. To manage risk, we will set a stop loss at $0.177, just below the forecast price and the lower Bollinger Band. Our target price will be $0.19, aligning with the forecast price and providing a reasonable profit margin. If the price reaches $0.19, we will secure the profit. This strategy balances the potential for short-term gains with a conservative risk management approach, given the slightly bearish forecast. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a clear upward trend, breaking through the resistance level of $0.173. The RSI consistently remains below 50, indicating a potential for further gains. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been trading outside the upper band, suggesting a strong bullish momentum. We will implement a long position strategy, aiming to capitalize on this upward trend. Specifically, we will enter a long position at $0.161, placing a stop-loss order at $0.157, just below the support level, to mitigate potential losses. Our initial target price will be $0.169, aligning with the forecast price for July 10, 2026. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position. For example, if the RSI falls to $28.7, we will consider buying additional units. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 80, suggesting an overbought condition, we will consider taking profits. If the RSI reaches $64.1, we will consider adjusting our target price to $0.184. This dynamic approach, combined with Bollinger Bands and support/resistance levels, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink has been exhibiting a slight upward trend, though with considerable volatility. The RSI has mostly been below 50, indicating a generally oversold condition, with peaks above 50. The Bollinger Bands show periods of contraction and expansion, suggesting potential for price breakouts. Given the current forecast, with prices hovering around $7.64 to $7.69, I recommend a long position. Entry price will be $7.52. The stop loss should be set at $7.45 to protect against potential downside risks. The initial target price will be $8, aiming to capture a reasonable profit. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate a dynamic approach based on the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI crosses above 50 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a strong buying opportunity. In this case, we can adjust the target price to $8.2, capitalizing on the potential upward momentum. Conversely, if the RSI falls below 30 while the price is near the upper Bollinger Band, it suggests an overbought condition, prompting a partial profit taking at $7.9 and tightening the stop loss to $7.6 to mitigate losses. This adaptive strategy aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Uniswap shows a clear upward trend, supported by consistently breaking through resistance levels and the projected price increase over the next week. The RSI consistently above 50 indicates bullish momentum, with values nearing overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands also suggest an upward trend, with prices frequently touching the upper band. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will initiate a buy order at $3.32, capitalizing on the start of the forecast period and the recent upward momentum. To mitigate risk, a stop loss will be placed at $3.25, slightly below the recent support level. The primary target price is $3.5, aligning with the forecast for July 16, 2026. A secondary target of $3.6 can be considered if the upward trend continues to strengthen. To refine this strategy, we will integrate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at $3.36. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it could present a more favorable entry point. If the price reaches the upper Bollinger Band, we will consider taking partial profits at $3.47, securing gains while allowing the remaining position to run. This blended approach combines the momentum of the overall trend with opportunistic entries and exits based on technical indicators, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, PYTH network shows an overall upward trend. The price has consistently tested and bounced off the support level of $0.0424, indicating strong buying pressure at that level. The RSI has fluctuated but generally remained above the oversold level of 20, suggesting that the asset is not excessively undervalued. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, indicating increasing volatility and potential for price movement. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices predicted to rise to $0.0468, a long position appears favorable. Therefore, I recommend a portfolio strategy combining RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. The entry price will be $0.043 on July 10, 2026. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $0.0419 to protect against unexpected downturns. The initial target price will be $0.045, aligning with the recent resistance level. If the price breaks through this resistance, the target price will be adjusted to $0.0468, based on the forecast. This strategy aims to capitalize on the anticipated upward trend while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss placement. Based on the historical data and forecast, ApeCoin shows a generally upward trend with recent volatility. The price has been fluctuating around the support price of $0.165 and resistance price of $0.174. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently approaching overbought conditions, with a value of 67.9 on July 9, 2026. However, the forecast suggests a continued upward movement, with prices expected to reach $0.177 by July 16, 2026. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy focusing on the upward momentum. We will enter a long position at $0.159, placing a stop-loss order at $0.15 to manage potential downside risk. The initial target price will be $0.167, aligning with the forecast price for July 15, 2026. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the bottom band, it signals a potential oversold condition, which is not the case currently. However, if the price retraces to around $0.155, which is near the lower Bollinger Band, we will reevaluate and potentially enter a long position with a tighter stop-loss at $0.148. The target price for this scenario would be $0.168. This combined approach leverages both RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential gains while minimizing risk, creating a robust and adaptable investment portfolio. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bittensor exhibits a downtrend with recent consolidation. The RSI consistently hovers below 50, indicating prevailing bearish momentum, though it has approached the oversold level of 20. The Bollinger Bands show a narrowing range, suggesting decreasing volatility, and the forecast predicts a slight downward movement. Therefore, a short selling strategy is recommended. Entry price should be $204, aligning with the support level and the start of the forecast period. A stop-loss should be placed at $214, slightly above the recent high and the center of the Bollinger Bands. The initial target price is $200, based on the forecast for July 16, 2026. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI dips below 37, consider a short position. If the RSI rises above 47, consider covering the position. This dynamic adjustment allows for capitalizing on short-term fluctuations while maintaining the overall bearish outlook. A second target price can be set at $197, coinciding with the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. This layered approach, combining trend analysis, forecast data, and RSI signals, aims to maximize returns while effectively managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, just shows a clear upward trend. The RSI consistently rises, moving from 48.5 to 75.6, indicating strengthening momentum. The Bollinger Bands are also expanding, with the price consistently near the upper band, further confirming an upward trajectory. The forecast for the next week projects continued growth, with prices moving from $0.096 to $0.105. Therefore, a bullish strategy is warranted, focusing on capitalizing on this momentum. My recommended strategy is a long position with a tiered approach. Entry price will be $0.096. The initial stop loss will be set at $0.093, just below the recent support level and the lower Bollinger Band. The first target price is $0.100, aligning with the forecast high for July 12, 2026. If the price reaches this target, consider moving the stop loss to break even to protect profits. The second target price is $0.105, coinciding with the final forecast price. This strategy balances risk and reward, allowing for significant gains while mitigating potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, plasma has been fluctuating within a range between 0.091 and 0.109. The RSI indicates periods of oversold and overbought conditions, with recent readings hovering around the mid-50s. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been oscillating around the middle band, occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, my recommended strategy is a combination of trend following and mean reversion techniques. We will initiate a long position when the RSI falls below 40, indicating an oversold condition, and the price touches the support level of $0.091. The entry price will be $0.091. To manage risk, the stop loss will be set just below the support level at $0.088. The initial target price will be the resistance level of $0.109. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, indicating a strong upward trend, we will adjust the target price to $0.115. Conversely, if the price falls below the lower Bollinger Band, suggesting a downward trend, we will tighten the stop loss to $0.09. Given the forecast for the next week, which predicts a slight downward trend with prices around $0.09 to $0.098, I suggest a cautious approach. Therefore, we will enter a long position at $0.091, set a stop loss at $0.088, and aim for a target price of $0.109. This strategy balances the potential for gains with robust risk management, aligning with a high returns investment approach. Based on the historical data and forecast, Internet Computer shows a slight upward trend with support at $2.24 and resistance at $2.47. The RSI fluctuates between 37.1 and 56.0, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been moving within the bands, with recent days nearing the upper band, suggesting potential bullish momentum. Combining these indicators, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position when the RSI falls below 40 and the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, around $2.1. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $2.2 to protect against a potential downturn. The initial target price will be the resistance level at $2.47. To maximize returns, we will implement a dynamic target strategy. If the price reaches $2.47, we will move the stop loss to break even and set a new target price at $2.55, anticipating a potential breakout above the resistance. If the price fails to reach $2.47 and shows signs of reversal, such as the RSI crossing above 80 or the price falling below the $2.3 mark, we will exit the position and reevaluate the market conditions. This portfolio combines the RSI and Bollinger Band strategies, allowing for a high probability, high reward investment opportunity with well-defined entry, stop loss, and target levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, SE shows a downtrend with consistent tests of the support price of 0.0472. The RSI fluctuates between 35.6 and 45.9, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions, but generally remains below the 50 mark. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing, suggesting decreasing volatility, and the forecast predicts a continued downward movement, potentially reaching 0.0457. Considering these factors, I recommend a short position strategy. My proposed strategy involves entering a short position when the RSI reaches above 60, with an entry price of 0.0506 plus $0.1. The stop loss should be placed just above the upper Bollinger Band at 0.0586 plus $0.2 to protect against unexpected upward movements. The initial target price is set at the support level of 0.0472 to $0.1. If the price breaks through the support level, the stop loss should be adjusted to the entry price, and the target price should be revised to 0.0457 to $0.2, capitalizing on the predicted downward trend. This strategy combines RSI signals with Bollinger Band confirmation and support/resistance levels to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Morpho demonstrates a clear upward trend. The RSI consistently remains above 50, indicating bullish momentum, and has recently breached the 60 level, suggesting potential for further gains. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, confirming the increasing volatility and upward movement. The forecast for the next week projects continued price increases, with values ranging from $2.08 to $2.31. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price should be $2.08. Stop loss should be set at $1.94, just below the recent low. The initial target price is $2.31, aligning with the forecast high. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 40, consider a partial profit taking at $2.14 and reduce the position size. If the price touches the bottom Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity, but maintain the stop loss at $1.94. The final target price remains $2.31, but if the price surpasses this level, consider extending the target based on further technical analysis. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on the upward trend while mitigating risk through strategic stop loss and profit-taking levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, Arbitrum shows a potential for upward movement. The RSI consistently stays below 80, indicating the asset isn't overbought, and has recently crossed 50, signaling a potential bullish trend. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing, suggesting a period of consolidation followed by a potential breakout. Considering the support price of $0.0857 and the resistance of $0.0929, a strategy focused on capitalizing on upward momentum is recommended. I propose a long position with an entry price of $0.0793, a stop loss set at $0.0769 just below the recent low, and a target price of $0.0875, near the recent high. This strategy aims to capture short-term gains while mitigating risk. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, oversold, enter a long position. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it's another buy signal. Place a stop loss slightly below the lower Bollinger Band, around $0.0769, and set a target price near the upper Bollinger Band, around $0.0875. This combined approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators for enhanced precision. The final portfolio will prioritize the combined RSI and Bollinger Band strategy for optimal returns.